I'm Victoria, and I'm a doctoral student at the University of Central Arkansas, and my background is in classical music, specifically vocal performance and opera. So I'm here today to help you make sense of the crazy world that is applying to music schools. Whether it be university or conservatory, I've done it, and I have had a lot of success along the way. However, it can be really confusing and overwhelming, to be honest, especially if you don't know where to start. And that's why I'm here. So I hope that you get a lot of good information out of this video. So there are several areas of focus when applying to these schools. Music, theater, and dance have pretty similar application processes, and today I'm going to focus on the music because that's the background from which I come. So music, of course, has many different areas within it. Instrumentalists and vocalists have specific requirements that they have to meet, and these are often different at every school. So it's really wise to just go online and check the requirements right off the bat. I am personally a vocalist, so that's what I'll be using for my frame for this video. And if you see me doing this, I'm checking my notes to make sure I cover everything for you guys. So the application process. Typically, there's two applications you have to fill out. The graduate school application, if applicable. It's more applicable to university institutions than conservatories. Conservatories kind of are their own thing. And I actually did my master's at the Boston Conservatory up north, so it's just a whole different animal. You don't have to fill out a graduate school application, you just fill out the application to that to the conservatory specifically. But for different institutions, like Rice, for instance, or I don't know, SMU, things like that, you're gonna need to fill out that graduate school application before you fill out the music department or the School of Fine Arts application, and they are two different ones. There will be a fee attached with every application, and the prices will vary from school to school. That's just how it is. But things that you'll need along the way in the application process, you really need a CV, which is, if you don't know, a curricula vitae, and it's basically like a lengthier version of a resume, but you're also going to need a resume. Try to keep that at one page. It's just really better if you can. You're going to need really nice headshots, so if you don't already have some, I would suggest getting some. And you're going to need a repertoire list just to have at the ready. So anything that you've done up to this point, it's good to have on that sheet. So it's also good to be prepared to pay for the flights and hotel stays if you're going to audition at these schools. If you're doing live auditions, you're going to have to be there. Sometimes they will have regional auditions, so some of the larger schools, such as the Boston Conservatory, a lot of times have regional auditions. I don't think they do for voice, at least I didn't do it. I think that's more for like dance calls. I'm not sure. But anyway, check their website and you will probably find more about it than I even know. So, classical vocal requirements include several different things. So art songs, arias, and sometimes oratorio selections. And the oratorio selections, it just depends, like I said, on the school, once again. And for instance, where I'm going to school now for my PhD, I know that their master's program that they have requires singers to bring an oratorio to the audition. The Boston Conservatory did not. It was just, you could if you wanted to, but it wasn't a requirement. But as far as the arias and art songs are concerned, they need to be in different languages. So you need to have English, Italian, French, and German for sure. And it's good to have multiples of those, if at all humanly possible, which it's pretty easy if you're going into a master's program. You're already going to have a pretty solid repertoire list. There's also an opportunity to do selections in other languages, such as Russian or Spanish, and that is widely accepted if you have already met your requirements for the languages and you still have a piece that they need you to, come in with an art song, and you happen to have a Spanish art song in your repertoire, pull it out. They really kind of like seeing the versatility, so it can never hurt. So it's often encouraged. The number of each of the art songs and arias / oratorios, it depends on the school. For the most part, there's going to be 5 selections that you bring in, and you will have a reduced repertoire list that you give them for that. But ultimately, like I said, it just depends on the school. Some schools want more, some want less, but generally right around 5. Let's see, what else do I have here? So the requirements often include year cutoffs, which is a really it's something you need to be mindful of. So what we call contemporary in classical music, or modern, is post-1950, which I realize is not necessarily super modern, but in the world of music, it's fairly modern, and especially classical music. So that's something you need to be aware of and make sure that you meet those requirements. And they will typically list those dates for the cutoff years on their website, and if they don't, and they say, oh, we want an early music piece, and you don't know if something's right around that area, but you don't know where their cutoff is, it's good to just call and make sure before you just go and make an assumption. So there's also some schools that have further detailed vocal units instead of just having like opera, vocal performance, musical theater. They also have things like early music programs. I know that a girl that I went to undergrad with auditioned at Yale for her early music, or for their early music program. And so they have even more specific requirements that they have to meet within the early music section. So, like I said, just check their website, and if you don't know, call and they will be happy to direct you. So the recording process. I personally didn't have to make a recording to send to my undergraduate university, but I know a lot of people who did. I happened to live close enough that I just drove to it, had my audition, it wasn't a problem. But I do know a lot of people, like I said, that had to send in an audition tape. So it's a possibility. I had to send one in, well, to several schools for my graduate auditions. So a few things you need to keep in mind about recordings. Make sure that your recordings are of really high quality. It is of the utmost importance to you that you have a really good sound quality. Some schools just want the audio, some schools want audio and video. To be determined. They tell you exactly what they want on their website as you're getting ready to submit. If you have all of the equipment, like the really nice microphones, the nice camera, a really good place to do it, you're more than welcome to record yourself. But you also have to have the skill to make sure you cut it in the right places, and make sure you run the name of the piece and the composer and the larger work that it's from at the bottom of the screen. At least mine did that, which I'm very, very grateful for. I had somebody do it for me. If you don't have these things or don't know how to do them, I just really suggest hiring it done. A lot of times you can find someone to do this at a university or even a community college. There are people around who know how to do these things really, really well. I am not a super tech savvy person, so that is something that I was willing to pay for out of pocket, and it benefits you in the long run. So be sure to announce the title of your piece and what larger work it is from before each of the selections in your recording. And if you don't do that, it's a good idea to have them run at the bottom of the screen. And even if you do announce them, sometimes it's nice to have them run at the bottom of the screen. There will sometimes be a recording fee when you send in or upload recordings to a particular school. Some want it sent by email, some by YouTube submission, and then they want a link to that playlist. Some use a third-party system that you upload to. And like I said, some just want audio recordings. So any variety of those things, that's just an important thing to know. Let's see, what else do I have here? Remember that these recordings are only, okay, so for graduate school at least, and usually for undergrad, Remember that these recordings are only a first round of cuts that they will be making. If you pass the round of cuts with your audition tape, they will then invite you to come for the second round of auditions, which are the live auditions. So let's talk a little bit about live auditions. They can be intimidating and overwhelming, especially if you don't know anybody at the school in which you're applying. And at this point, you've done your research and you know your music. You probably know even what teacher or professor that you want at that school, university, conservatory, whatever it may be. Contact that professor by phone, by email, whatever means necessary. See if they're willing to have a mini diagnostic lesson with you. I think that's a really great idea. I didn't know going in that I could do that, to be honest with you, and thankfully, one of the professors from a school that I applied to reached out to me and said, "Hey, I just heard your audition tape. Would you like to have a mini lesson with me?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that would be wonderful." And then I realized everybody does that. So it's a really good idea, and they are very, very willing to meet with you. So just reach out, and it's a really good thing to do, and it really lets you know if you're going to click with that professor. And you want a positive and professional working relationship with your voice teacher, as it'll help you throughout your career, not just the time that you're at the school. So it's very important to have that good working relationship. It'll also help you make inroads with people at the university and conservatory, other faculty members. If you make a really good impression on them, it never hurts to have an advocate on your side, and they say, "Oh, hey, she came and did a lesson with me today. We really, she had a great mini lesson." That's good to have somebody on your side, especially if you don't know anybody else at that university or conservatory. It's a good idea to have 2 binders, at least I did, at your live audition. One copy of your music will likely be very marked up with all your personal little, things, syncopation, like breathe here, check mark, whatever. So it's really nice to have a clean copy of the music for your accompanist. Even if you don't take an extra binder, just have a clean copy of all of your music that you're going to be auditioning with at the back of that binder, so that the accompanist doesn't have to see all of your markings and read through the craziness, because it's really hard on them, and they are so amazing. Thankfully, every university and conservatory that I went to for auditions, they were just fantastic accompanists, and I cannot thank them enough. So if you're listening, thank you. But don't expect them to bring in your music. A lot of times they will let you send in copies of your music ahead of time so that the accompanist can look at it and make sure that they know how to play it, blah, blah, blah. However, don't expect them to bring that music in, and really, you're not the only person auditioning. So don't expect them to have everything perfect. It's not going to be flawless, and that's okay. You've been working on this music probably for a very long time. So it's always a good idea to take just a minute right beforehand and just go over the tempo you're going to do for that particular piece with the accompanist in the live audition room. It's okay to do that, and I would recommend it highly. It just gets both of you on the same page, and it's a collaboration. That's what this is all about. That's what music is all about. It's a collaboration. So make sure to work with your accompanist, and thank you for accompanists. So typically, what they will do is have you bring in your repertoire sheets and pass them out to, I'm going to call them the judges. They're the people sitting in the audition who are going to be listening to you. And probably there will be a recording, just so you know. They will likely have a video camera set up for the faculty members who can't be in that room in your audition, because they've got more people auditioning. So they will often record and then make their cuts accordingly. So make sure that you bring in your repertoire sheets for them of just the pieces that you will be doing for them, or the selections that you've made that they can choose from. So they will ask you your first piece and you perform it. Then they will say, I want to hear number 3, whatever you had on there. Whatever. So it's just a good idea to bring in several copies. I always keep them in the back of my binder so that I can pass them out, unless there's someone at the door who will do that for you as you go in. And sometimes there is. Typically, they will ask you some questions about yourself, ask you to sight read, then ask what your first piece will be, have you perform it, and they'll ask for a second piece, possibly even a third piece. But if they're running short on time, they might cut you off in the middle of a song or a piece, whatever, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you had a bad audition. It just means that they are behind and they really need to keep moving. So sometimes that'll happen, and that's okay too. Sometimes this process is followed by an interview with another member of the faculty. So have your questions ready to go as well about the institution, the conservatory, whatever it may be. It's really good to have questions for them, not just a one-sided kind of question-answer response thing. Let's see what else I have here. While you're there, take time to sit in on some classes. I recommend this highly because it's just really good to get a feel for the school and the kind of professors they have there, what kind of environment, the class sizes, that kind of thing. And remember that you are committing to not only the school, the people, but also to the location. Explore the city, have a good time, Boston, Philadelphia, wherever it may be. Just enjoy and kind of soak it all in, and that'll help you make your decision later. So acceptance also works a little differently in the music realm. So you'll receive an email and a letter regarding your acceptance to the program. Remember, if the school is a university and you've applied both to the graduate school and to the School of Fine Arts, you can be accepted by just the graduate school and not by the School of Fine Arts. So to remove any confusion, it is important that you call if you have any questions. But a lot of times, music programs tend to push the envelope on time scheduling. At least that's what I've noticed. So a lot of times I definitely received some offers very, very quickly, and some were delayed. And then these dates were coming up where I needed to turn in put in a deposit for the school that I was choosing, but these schools hadn't offered me anything yet, but I knew they were going to because I called them and I said, hey, this is coming up over here. Should I wait? And they were like, oh yeah, So just sometimes they push that envelope. Just be aware of that before, making your decision. It's just one of those things that it's a work in progress. All of us are a work in progress, I guess. So let's see. You may be left to wait to receive notice of your. You may be left to wait to receive notice of your scholarships, or you can get along with the, along with the acceptance of the school. There we go. So you may not get notice of your scholarships along with your acceptance letter, or you could receive both at the same time, depending on the institution and what they want. So remember that it's okay to call the school and, check on the status of your application and your audition. And if they know you're looking at offers from other schools, this could actually help you in the long run with money. So it's not a bad idea anyway, to say, hey, how's my application coming? I was wondering, I've been getting some things over here. Yeah, so it's just not a bad idea. And I guess that's about it. So I hope this video has helped you in understanding this crazy process of applying to music schools. If it did, please let me know in the comments below. If there's something I left out or just totally forgot, please let me know as well. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I'm Victoria, and thanks for watching.